Good morning, students. So today we are doing the revision of chapter 3, and that is a plant kingdom. So what we are going to revise in this chapter? Number one, systems of classification. Student, all of you know very well that various systems of classification, they were introduced by the scientists time to time in order to classify the various species of plants. So we are here going to revise the different systems of classification, such as the artificial system, the natural system of classification, then the phylogenetic, numerical taxonomy, cyto and chemotaxonomy. Okay, students, let us start the revision of this chapter. So first of all, I am going to tell you about the various systems of classification. So have a look. We have 6 systems of classification in a kingdom planting. Number one is artificial system of classification. So we will study in detail about these systems. The second is the natural system of classification. So all of you remember very well that this natural system of classification that was introduced by the scientist Bantham and Hooker, and it is also known as Bantham and Hooker system of classification, is the system which is generally used for classification of flora of the Indian species, because both of these scientists, they are the Britishers, and before independence, India is under the British rule. And third system is phylogenetic system of classification. So this system is based on the evolutionary history of a particular plant species. And fourth one is numerical taxonomy. So numerical taxonomy is generally a branch of biology where we make use of computer applications to study the various characteristics found in different plant species. And fifth one is cytotaxonomy. So here we study some of the important characters of the cell, such as the chromosome number of each species, it varies. Then we also know the structure of these chromosomes. And later we will also study about how these chromosomes, they generally move in particular plant species during the process of cell division. And the last system of classification is chemotaxonomy, students. So chemo word is generally used for chemicals. So this system of classification is based on the types of chemicals that are produced by the various plant species. All of you know very well, these are broadly categorized as the primary metabolites and the secondary metabolites. So primary metabolites, they are actually the product of photosynthesis. But beside this, the plants, they also produced certain chemicals which are playing an important role or a significant role in the defense mechanism of the plants. And these are known as the secondary metabolites. So here this branch of taxonomy is based on these chemical constituents which are generally produced by different plant species. Okay, students, first of all, we are going to study about the artificial system of classification. So this artificial system of classification, it is based on the gross superficial morphological characters. So all the morphological characters such as the habit of the plant, that what kind of plant it is a herb, it is a shrub, it is a tree, an epiphyte or climber. Then the color, number and the shape of the leaves that are present in the plants. All of you know very well the leaves that are present in a plant is not always of a green color. So different colors are there in the leaves because of the types of pigment present in them. How many leaves are generally present on the branches or on the stem? And what are the shape of these leaves that are generally considered under the artificial system of classification? Here in the artificial system of classification, the main focus is on vegetative characters. So all of these characters, habit, color, number, and shape of the leaves, these are actually the vegetative characters. And the main thing regarding this is, beside the vegetative characters, here the structure of the androecium was also considered by the scientists. So that is totally a different thing. So artificial system of classification, they separated the closely related species on the basis of few characters. And the sexual characters such as the structure of the androecium as well as the vegetative characters, they are both considered at the same time. But there is a big difference between both of these. As you know that the vegetative characters, they generally gets affected by the changes in the environment. So this is the major disadvantage of this artificial system of classification. Yes, student. Next system of classification, which is widely accepted in our country, India, and that is the natural system of classification. So what is the special thing about this natural system of classification? That it were based on the natural affinities that are present among the organisms. So in this system of classification, not only the external features of the plants are considered, beside these, the internal features such as the ultrastructure of the cell, anatomical feature of the particular plant organs, whether it may be root, stem, or leaves, embryology that is present in case of monocot as well as dicot species, and the phytochemistry, that is the presence of specific type of chemicals or manufacture of specific type of chemicals in the presence of light, that were also considered in this natural system of classification. As all of you know very well, such classification for flowering plant was given by two scientists jointly, and their name were George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So that's why this system is also known as Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So all the species of flora that are present in our country, it is classified on the basis of this Bentham and Hooker system of classification. Yes, student, the third system of classification is the phylogenetic system of classification. As the name itself indicates, phylogeny means evolutionary history. So this system is based on the evolutionary relationships that are present between the different species of the living organisms such as plants. So this assumes that organisms belonging to the same taxa, they have certain common ancestors. And because of this, they are showing the same type of similarities. The system becomes more important when there is no supporting fossil evidence, because in that case, generally the similarities which are present in different plant species, they are considered. And on the basis of that, a conclusion is drawn that this particular species of plant has so much similarities with this primitive type of plant species, so that we can find out on the basis of that that these primitive plant species can be considered as the ancestors of the species that are present in the modern times. So in this way, we have draw conclusions on the basis of certain similar characters that are found in bryophytes, division bryophytes. And so many characters of these bryophytes, they are similar with the algae. As you know that algae has a thallus-like body, there are also thalloid structures present in case of bryophytes, but a little bit differentiated. So in this way, you can say that these algae, they can be considered as the common ancestors of bryophytes. Yes, student, the fourth system of classification is known as a numerical taxonomy. So this system, it is easily carried out by using computers. It is based on all observable characters. So what the scientists done in this system of classification, so here the numbers and codes, they are assigned to the characters, and the data are then processed. So in this way, when we feed that particular number or code in the computer, then we are able to study the different characters that are saved on the basis of these code numbers. So in this way, each character, it is given an equal importance, and at the same time, hundreds of characters that can be easily considered for the purpose of study. Yes, student, the last system of classification is cytotaxonomy and chemotaxonomy. Student, cytotaxonomy, as the name itself indicates, it is based on the cytological information, like the number of chromosomes that is present in a species. Every species has a unique number of chromosomes. Then the structure of the chromosome, what kind of chromosomes are they, and what kind of movements are these chromosomes they performed during the process of a cell division, whether it may be mitosis or it may be meiosis. And second one is chemotaxonomy. So this system, it generally uses the chemical constituents. Actually, these are the secondary metabolites, and on the basis of this, the different plant species, they can be easily distinguished from each other. So generally, this branch that is known as chemotaxonomy, it is used by the taxonomists these days also. Yes, student, now we are going to start one very important topic, and that is algae. All of you have listened this name from your previous classes. So here we are going to study in detail about the habit and the habitat of these algae and the different types of species of algae. So let us start the general features of the algae. Okay, student, according to habit and habitat, these algae, they are generally the chlorophyll bearing animals, plants, and these are simple thallus-like bodies there. Then they are autotrophic in nature because moisture is playing an important role in the life cycle of algae. So algae, they are found in both aquatic habitat, that may be both freshwater as well as marine habitat. They occur in a variety of habitats such as the moist stones, soil, and the wood, which is moist. Some lives in symbiotic association with other, you can say, species such as fungi. So when the algae that lives in a close association with fungi, then they are known as lichens. And beside this, they are sometimes growing on the back of some animals which are living in extreme cold conditions, such as sloth bears, which are generally found in the polar regions. According to their form and size, there are so many variations that are found in these algal species. And these may be in the form of colonies. Sometimes unicellular algae is there, and sometimes they are living together in the form of a colony, like the Volvox species. And sometimes they are exist in the form of filaments, like the Eulothrix and Spirogyra. So in marine forms, we can give the example of kelps. These kelps, they actually form massive plant bodies. So whenever you visit an ocean and go inside the ocean, you will see such huge kelps, which are seems to be some plants that are growing under the ocean water. Yes, student, about reproduction. So these algae, they reproduce vegetatively, asexually, as well as sexually. So vegetative reproduction in case of algae takes place by the process of fragmentation. So here the thallus of the algae, it divides into so many fragments, and each fragment is capable to produce the entire algae. And if we are talking about the asexual reproduction, the asexual reproduction takes place by the production of variety of spores. So different type of spores, they are generally formed. And the most common of these are the flagellated or motile zoospores. And if we are saying about their sexual reproduction, then their sexual reproduction, it takes place by both flagellated and non-flagellated gametes. So depending upon the size of the gametes, these sexual reproduction may be further categorized as isogamy and isogamy and oogamy. A student, here one picture is visible on your screen. So first picture is of the member of the class Chlorophyceae, and this is the Volvox algae. Then we are giving the example of Sargassum algae. So this is a Sargassum algae, which is the member of class Phaeophyceae. And third one is the member of the class Rhodophyceae, red algae. And this is the Polysiphonia algae. So many siphon-like structures are present over the body, and it is a complex type of algae. Somewhat looks like the branches of a tree. Yes, student, regarding the types of sexual reproduction, I want to here specify each of the process in detail. So if the two gametes fusing in a sexual reproduction is of the similar size, whether flagellated or not, it is called as isogamy. So if you have to give the example of isogamy, you can say Eulothrix and Spirogyra, they are the isogamous species. And if the two gametes fusing in a sexual reproduction is not of similar size, that means the male gamete is of the small size and the female gamete is of the large size, then such type of sexual reproduction is known as anisogamy. And the example of anisogamy is the Eutheria. And the third one is oogamy. What is the special thing about oogamy? That here the fusion, it takes place between one large non-motile and static female gamete and the other is small motile male gamete. That means the male gamete has flagella and the male gamete can easily move or swim in the water because of this flagella. So such type of reproduction is known as oogamy. So if you have to give the example of oogamous species, you can write the name of volvox, fucus, algae under these. Yes, student, I am going to discuss about the economic importance of algae, and that is quite an interesting topic. That half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on this earth, it is carried out by these algal species, because you know that like plants, these algae, they are also autotrophic in nature. Then second one is they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in the immediate environment, because you know that they generally do the photosynthesis. So as a result of this, the oxygen gas it evolves. So the supply of oxygen gas, because of these algae, they remain constant in the atmosphere. And third one is algae. They are the primary producers of energy-rich compounds, and these energy-rich compounds they generally form the basis of the food cycles of all the aquatic animals. And there are some special species of algae such as Porphyra, Laminaria, Sargassum. All of these are examples of marine algae, and they are used as food. There are certain brown and red algae which produce large amount of hydrocolloids. And these hydrocolloids are algin in case of brown algae and carrageenan. In case of red algae, they are used commercially for wrapping the fruits and vegetables when they have to be transported from a long distance to some cities. The next one is agar agar, a common kind of commercial product which is generally used for culturing the various type of microorganisms. It is generally manufactured from the species of Xylidium and Gracilaria. Also, both of these algae, they are also used to enhance the flavor of ice creams and jellies. And one very special thing about these algae are there is a species of algae known as chlorella, which is a unicellular algae, and this algae is rich in proteins, and it is later used as food supplements by the various space travels who are generally spending a lot of time in the space. So they cannot carry so much food with them. Instead of that, they are using these dried chlorella masses, and in this way they obtain the proper nourishment when they visit the space. Yes, student, here I am going to start the revision of the first class of algae, and that is the class Chlorophyceae. So Chlorophyceae, commonly known as the green algae, you can see in the picture that their body is thallus-like. So very little differentiation is there. You're not able to differentiate that what is the leaf, or you can say roots or stems. And second, I have shown you the picture of the Volvox algae. So this is not a single cell, but it is the masses of so many cells which are living together, and they are joining with each other with the help of their flagella. So these are the colonial Volvox algae. And the third picture is the complex multicellular algae known as Chara algae. So it seems to be like the branches of a tree. Yes, student, we are revising first the class Chlorophyceae. All of you know very well the class Chlorophyceae is also known as a green algae. And what about the plant body? So their plant body is unicellular. It may be colonial or it may be in the form of filaments. And what about their color? Their color usually grass grains due to the dominance of two pigments, and that is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So where these pigments they are located? These pigments they are generally located in definite chloroplast, and these chloroplasts they have variety of shapes. These may be discoid or disc shape, reticulate, plate-like chloroplasts are also present, cup-shaped chloroplasts are there, spiral chloroplast, then we have a ribbon-shaped chloroplast in class Chlorophyceae. So most of the members they have storage bodies for storing the reserve food material during the process of photosynthesis. So variety of reserve food materials such as starch, oils, and proteins. They are generally stored in the storage bodies which are known as pyrenoids. And these pyrenoids, they are actually present in the chloroplast. A student about their cell wall. So this green algae have a cell wall which is quite rigid, And it is made up of an inner layer of cellulose, whereas the outer layer is made up of fat. And if we want to study about their reproduction, so both all the types of reproduction is seen in this type of algae. And vegetative reproduction, it takes place by fragmentation or by the formation of different species of spores. And if we want to tell you about the asexual method of reproduction, so here asexual reproduction, it takes place by flagellated zoospores, and these flagellated zoospores, they are formed in special type of structures which are known as eusporangia. And regarding the sexual reproduction, so here the sexual reproduction, it may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. I have explained all the three types of sexual reproduction to you. Now it is well comprehended by you. So examples of the chlorophyceae algae are the unicellular algae, Chlamydomonas, colonial algae, Volvox. Then we have filamentous algae such as Ulothrix and Kyra, and complex multicellular algae, and that is Chara. Okay, student, after the class chlorophyceae, we are going to start here the revision of the next class, and that is class Phaeophyceae. So you can see the members of the class Phaeophyceae. Ectocarpus, Sargassum, Fucus, all of these are examples of the class Phaeophyceae. So it is commonly brown algae. Why it is known as brown algae? Because of the presence of a dominant pigment fucoxanthin in them. Yes, student, we are going to study the characteristics of the class Phaeophyceae. So members of the class Phaeophyceae, they are commonly known as the brown algae. So they are found in marine habitats. They are showing great variations in size and form. So they range from simple branched filamentous forms to profusely branched forms, which are represented by scalps. And these scalps, they can reach the height of 100 meters. And regarding the type of pigments that are present in the class Phaeophyceae, so here the dominant pigments are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenoids, and xanthophylls. Regarding the color of this algae, so the color it vary from olive green to various shades of the brown, depending upon the amount of the xanthophyll pigment present. The chief among the xanthophyll pigment here is the fucoxanthin. So because of this pigment fucoxanthin, different shades of the brown color is found in this class of algae known as Phaeophyceae. Yes, if you have to study about the type of the food that is stored in the class Phaeophyceae. So food stored are complex carbohydrates such as laminarin and mannitol. And vegetative cells, they have cellulosic cell wall. And this cellulosic cell wall, it is covered from outside by a gelatinous coating of algae. And if we want to talk about the protoplast, then this protoplast, it contains a centrally located vacuole because it is autotrophic in nature. Beside vacuole, plastids and nucleus is present. And if we want to tell you about their plant body, so plant body, it is attached to the substratum with the help of a hold fast. A stalk-like structure is present, and that is known as a stipe, and leaf-like photosynthetic organs are present, which are generally doing the photosynthesis, and they are known as a front. Yes, student, regarding the reproduction in class Phaeophyceae. So here vegetative reproduction, it takes place by the process of fragmentation. So different fragments of the thallus is formed, and each of these fragments, they are later capable to produce the entire algae. And here sexual reproduction, it takes place with the help of biflagellated zoospores, and these zoospores, they are generally pear shaped, and they have unequal laterally attached flagella. All the three types of sexual reproduction is seen in this algae: isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. Then the special thing is union of the gametes. It takes place in water and within the oogonium. And gametes, they are also pyriform, that is pear shaped, and also they contains laterally attached flagella. So if you have to give the example of this class of algae, you can write Ectocarpus, Dicyota, Laminaria, Sargassum algae, and the Fucus algae. Yeah, student, the next class of the algae is class Rhodophyceae. So all of you can see the picture very well. So this class Rhodophyceae is commonly known as red algae. So they have beautiful, colorful appearance in the oceans. And this species of algae, they are generally unique to the marine habitats. So commonly it is known as red algae because of the presence of a dominant pigment that is generally found in this species, and that is Rhodophycean phycoerythrin. So this is the red color pigment, Rhodophycean phycoerythrin, that is present in the thallus of the algae. Then it is a marine algae with a greater concentration found in the warmer areas of the oceans. And the algal species, they occur in both well-lighted regions that are close to the surface of water, and also at great depths in the oceans where little light it penetrates. So wholly solely you can say it is a marine algae. Thallus of the red algae are generally multicellular with complex body organizations. A student, regarding the food storage, so food is stored as Floridian starch. And this Floridian starch, it is somewhat similar to myelopectin and glycogen. And about their reproduction, vegetative reproduction here takes place by fragmentation, whereas asexual reproduction, it takes place by non-motile spores. And sexual reproduction, it also takes place by non-motile gametes. So sexual reproduction is mainly of oogamous type, and this oogamous sexual reproduction is later accompanied by common post-fertilization developments. If you have to write the examples, you can give the example of Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, and Xylidium algae under this. So that's all about the algal species. So students, we will start our lecture tomorrow from bryophytes. So go through the revision of these classes of algae from your book, and let me know if any doubt is there. So that's all in today's lecture, student. Have a nice day.